This is Journey to Spiritual Greatness. I'm Skip.
And I'm Robin.
And it's time for transformation. This is Journey to Spiritual Greatness, episode number 1. I am Skip Jennings.
And I'm Robin.
Yes, you are. Oh my goodness, so we're very excited. This is our first episode of something I know is going to be pretty great. What do you think?
Yes, I feel like it's going to be amazing.
And we're always talking about this journey of spiritual greatness. But you know what? Before we dive deep into that, because you know this is going to be a spiritual podcast, but we're going to get real with it too. We're going to get deep and down and sometimes dirty. Mm-hmm. We don't believe in the ugly, but it's going to get really real. And that's how I think sexy spirituality should be, yeah?
Absolutely.
And truth, right? Mm-hmm. It's the holidays. It is the holidays. So when you first see this, you're going to go, okay, what time of year is it? It is holiday season.
Yes.
That means what? Kwanzaa?
Mm-hmm.
Christmas?
Right.
Hanukkah? The lights?
Yes. There's so much going on. I mean, like literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
So
when you see this, know that we are in the busy season of go craziness. So how's it been for you? What are you up to?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been busy.
Yeah.
With all the holiday parties and just getting, all the family kind of traditions and that kind of stuff down.
By the way, that holiday party that you threw, I had never seen someone who had snow in California at their house that was brought in. That was so
I
diva.
made that.
You made that snow?
I made that snow.
How'd you make snow?
It's not real snow, but it is this really cool snow, and it comes in a powder form.
Yeah.
And it even gets cold. And you can make a snowball, and it's biodegradable. So after, it goes right into the garden, keeps everything, healthy and
the kids loved it. They were like...
They'll stay out there for like 10 hours. It's like the greatest thing.
It was so much fun. And the food.
Yes.
And I don't eat a lot of carbs, but everything I ate was carb that night. It was so good.
Great. It's awesome.
Wait, okay. My favorite thing was the mac and cheese.
Yes, the panko mac and cheese.
Amazing.
Yes.
It's like...
It is one of my best friends is a chef.
Yeah.
And he caters a majority of our parties. It really helps me out so I don't have to cook everything and decorate everything.
Right.
And so he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And I just think the combination of everything, it's a great way to kind of get everybody into, that holiday spirit and the traditions and enjoying. And I definitely try to be very present in all of it.
Right.
I know that it's easy to kind of get away from that with, having to the presents and this and the parties and stuff. And
what I love was I got to meet a lot of new people I didn't know.
Yes.
And and you had like two what do you call it? Signature cocktails for the day?
Yes.
You had like a tequila. There were tequila
like
drinks.
A blood orange. Tequila thing in my snowball. It
was a snowball. Seriously, it was a snowball.
And I can reuse them for like the summer for tiki cups, but it was a snowball. Everybody loved them.
It was so good. It was so
everybody
good.
Loved them. You gotta go the whole thing. You have to go all the way.
But I was a little upset though, because Santa Claus never showed up, and you had the big chair for Santa Claus.
I know, this was like a photo situation. I know, it was like, is Santa coming?
It was like Santa.
And I'm
Santa's
like,
coming.
oh yeah.
Because I would sit on Santa's lap.
Absolutely, and we did have Santa before.
Right.
Many years we had him set up here in the front of the house.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful and amazing. And our dear friend Emily,
who brought us together.
Yes.
We love her.
Yes.
Some Emily EQ.
Yes. She actually that same year surprised me with a full choir from high school, and I already had like a choir here. It was
you
like
had two choirs.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it was amazing.
Okay, so obviously your parties are legendary. I heard about 2 years ago you had actual Christmas trees lined up in your yard. Is that true?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, that year I had real snow. I had real snow that year. Two huge trucks came and they make it real snow.
Right.
And all the neighbors came out from the neighborhood and they probably thought, what in the world is going on? But I wanted to feel like a forest. So I had to have Christmas trees. I'm a very immersive
I love it.
person. I'm like tactile.
Yeah.
I like to create experiences. And that's, where I started
That's it,
Yeah.
as a designer.
As a designer. And
But
it's
that's a
very
part of the
designer.
greatness of the journey. I think the journey of finding your greatness is you do it. You just don't do it. You do it.
Yes.
You got to do it
I
big.
do it. I go all the way. I go
All the
big. You know
way.
they say, go big, go home? That's my husband's favorite saying. I do that.
You do it. And, mind you, you guys who are seeing this and listening to this, we live in Southern California, and where it was warm on that day, but she brought in the snow.
Yeah, because you had to have snow.
I love it. I love it. Tell me a little bit about designing and how'd you fall into designing? What did you do?
So I actually started as an interior designer for many, many years.
Yeah.
And I worked in Laguna Beach. And just kind of a natural, I think, progression. We'd have clients asked to do, events.
Mm-hmm.
And so I transitioned. I still do interior design, but I also transitioned into doing event design.
Right.
And I dabbled a little bit in the wedding situation. And I was like, it's not really my thing. And so...
Wait, what's up with weddings? Why did you like weddings?
I love the element of design.
Yeah.
I love all that. With weddings, there's another energy there. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And my son at the time was very young. And I thought, you know what? This is kind of a lot to be away from my son who's really young. And I'm wanting to, not miss any moments with him.
Yeah, two
but also
beautiful kids
pursue
too.
things that I'm passionate, And so with just the design element and not the wedding, it
Right.
allows me just to design.
Because it takes a lot to put together a wedding.
Yes.
It takes a lot.
And I was doing everything. I was being like coordinator, designer. I was everything.
That's why I've had probably 2 engagements and 2 not weddings.
I
Because
know,
you
it's
start,
a lot.
you start designing, you're going, no, I don't want to.
You know what I tell people now? This is what I tell people. I said, listen,
Yeah.
I feel
Yes.
that you should go to wherever you want to go that means something to you. If you want to take a very small group
Right.
of people, like the people that are in your core, I call it the onion, the core onion. Take those people,
Yeah.
or you can just you and your future to be, and come back and then have a celebration.
And have a celebration.
Have a big barbecue, have a big dinner, have a celebration when you come back.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes it loses sight, right, of what it's really about. People get stressed up over the food and this and this and this and this. And it's not about that. It's not about going into debt.
Yeah.
Start your life together. Ever. It is
Preach.
about living. That's
Yeah,
what it's about.
it
And
is.
people forget that. They forget that. They go and that's not how you want to start your life. You don't want to start your life together in debt because for this, not that it's not important, but what's important is that your core people,
Yeah.
your onion core is around
And
you.
look, y'all getting information already. We haven't even get into the relationship episode yet.
Oh,
that's
my God,
coming
that's
down
gonna
the
be a
way.
good one.
That's going to be a good one. But we have a lot in common because you're a designer. I'm an artist, and
Mm-hmm.
I work with canvas and acrylics. And so I design a lot in my
Yes.
own way
Yes.
of designing on the canvas. But
Absolutely.
I am very particular in how my house needs to look and how it
Yes.
needs to feel.
Yes.
And that actually evolved throughout me getting older,
Absolutely.
realizing what I really wanted in my house, what I really didn't want to, and that
Same
was a
with mine.
journey. And I think design, and I know design is a representation of your divine creative self.
Right, absolutely. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so designer, we have that in common. We have a great friend, Emily Q, that brought us
Very
together.
dear.
We both are Reiki masters.
Yes, but
And we
Reiki
do a lot of
masters.
healing work. And you always said this, and I always love this. Reiki will find you
Absolutely.
when you need it. And mine was to a back surgery. I've had 3 back surgeries in my life.
Wow.
I know, right? 3 back surgeries. The first back surgery 10 years ago, a friend of mine right before I had surgery said, well, try Reiki. I was trying all these other different modalities of healing.
Right.
Found Reiki, and it just shifted me. I got an insight of the frequency and the vibration of healing.
Yes.
And how it is going through me, as me, for me, and I realized that I could do this for someone else.
Absolutely.
So is something similar like that with you?
I did. It found me too. Probably about.
And if y'all don't know what Reiki is, you have a great, tell them what it is.
It's the universal life force energy. That's really what it is defined as.
Universal life force energy.
Right.
Remember that. Look it up, y'all. Reiki, universal life force energy.
And it's what's all around us. It's
Yeah.
what we're created through. It's it's a very powerful healing force. And so I found, or Reiki found me.
Reiki found you.
Because, and we're so funny because I was just like, no, I'm a designer.
Yeah.
I'm a designer, And then I'm like, guess what? You can be a designer. And a Reiki master. You can be all those things. You can still pursue your passion.
You?
Absolutely. I feel like design is such an innate part of my being.
Right.
That is part of your divine creativity.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for me, and I feel very inspired by it, and I love it, And so, so Reiki found me because of my dad, who I love and cherish deeply, and he had surgery on his back, and he had hurt himself.
Yeah.
My husband, my dad were going to go play golf, and my dad went ahead to the driving range to warm up while he's waiting for Dean. Well, he came back 20 minutes later in excruciating pain. I mean, I've never seen my dad in this much pain. And if you know my dad, Duffy, he is like, he's like me. We have very high tolerance.
Strong.
For pain. He's just very calm.
Did he cry?
Very zen.
Did he cry?
He just had no words.
Oh.
He had no words. And I was really concerned.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't stand up. I don't even know how he drove home. And
back pain is that worst thing
I mean, he
ever.
didn't stand. He laid.
Yeah.
He just laid there, and it broke my heart. And and obviously, when you love someone so deeply and so much, you want to do whatever it takes, right? And as a mom, that's what we want to do for our children. Always, we want to take away the pain right away.
And our parents.
Yeah, everybody. Everyone that you
everyone.
love.
If you're a healer, you don't want to see anybody in pain.
No.
It's just our journey. It's what
Right.
we do.
Absolutely. Especially when you know with the life force energy of Reiki that it is an innate part of our natural state of being.
Yeah.
And that we actually, everybody has the power to heal themselves. And we just have to learn, and we have to believe that that's a possibility. So, so for my dad, I didn't know what I was doing. I put my hands on him and I just started praying, and with the intention that healing goes for his best and highest good.
Right.
And I remember 10 minutes in, my dad goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know." And he was like, if something's happening there. And I think what he's feeling was he's feeling the energy. You can feel the energy moving through you. And 15, 20 minutes later, no pain. And I was like completely astounded, and so was my father. And when he was asking me what I was doing, he was asking me how I was taking the pain away. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, my intention.
Were you working from a place of intention?
Absolutely.
Because, and a lot of people know that's going to be
thing.
another episode we're going to have down the road.
Yes.
Road
Yes.
is working from intention. And
It's
it's a very powerful thing. When you set the intention, I'm going to do something.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to make something happen.
Absolutely.
We're a powerful manifestation of, we can manifest. Absolutely. So you're working from intention, and it worked.
It worked.
Did you go, oh, did you have the angel singing around you?
Yes, I had no idea what was going on, and my dad and Dean went to play golf 20 minutes later. My husband, Dean, and they went to go play golf, and so that's how amazing. That's how amazing it was. It was. I mean, we were like, "Are you sure you should go?
Yeah.
Maybe we should relax." And he's like, "I feel like no pain," and he just went and played golf, and he's never experienced pain after that. And I feel that his intention too was that he desired to be free of that pain. And that made it even more powerful with my intention of desiring for him to heal and his intention of desiring to feel well.
Right.
Those are very powerful combinations of things. You know, you have to have that when you're doing Reiki. I always ask my clients when they get on that table,
Yeah.
what is your intention today? You don't have to say it out loud, but just think it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be conducive to your healing, your healing journey, whatever it is. You have to have that intention in place for
So
yourself.
much we were going to stay light the first part.
Oh, sorry,
It's
there's so much you
we're
can
going to
talk
go
about.
straight into the journey of rituals. But I got another question for you because
Yes.
I think it's very important for our viewers and our listeners to understand who we are. What's your go-to thing to find like joy in your life? What do you love to do?
Oh my gosh. I love to do a lot of
I know
things.
you do. That's why I'm asking. Because you're a bit of a foodie.
Yes, I'm a bit food. I love to cook.
Yes.
I love to cook for people.
Follow the Instagram feed, people. See what she's popping up there.
all
It's a
pictures
good
of food.
food. It's good
Food at
food.
parties.
If you like food, boom.
And we always joke that
Right.
it's called intuitive cooking.
I love
because
it.
I don't really have recipes.
But that is not the best way.
Intuitively throw things
I
together.
do that all the time. I have a cookbook.
Yes,
I have a cookbook.
You do.
It's called the Lotus Kitchen.
Yes.
And the Lotus Kitchen really came from things that came out of my spirit.
Yes.
And it's just really, I would pray going, okay, God, I just don't want cabbage.
Right.
give me something to do with this cabbage, yo.
How do I choose up this cabbage?
But you know what it came from? I was vegan for 9 years, and I
yeah.
was really disappointed with the vegan food that I was eating. It was like, this is before vegan became vegan.
Right, everybody's
And we live in Cali, y'all, and you can get the best vegan food in California.
Amazing.
So good, but it wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't.
So I decided, okay, I'm going to cook my own vegan food, and I would serve them at parties, and people would come up and going, this is really, really good. This is really, really good. You should do a cookbook. And after maybe about the 100th time someone said that,
You're like,
I'm
okay.
like, okay, I will.
Yes.
And it was one of those processes I realized, okay, this is a divine calling upon me.
Absolutely.
And I worked with this chef who she does that on a continuous basis.
Right.
And I'm not a chef because I don't want to do this as a living.
Right.
But I am mindful. I'm a mindful eating expert.
Yes.
I can tell you what's good, what could really feel good in your body, and
Right.
what tastes good.
Right.
And that's the journey of the cookbook,
Exactly.
the Lotus Kitchen. We actually added in something really cool about this book. We actually took something else that I really love is yoga. Mm-hmm. And we've taken the great vegan and vegetarian recipe, put it side by side with a yoga and a spiritual practice. So you're feeding the body, you're also feeding your soul and your spirit and your mind. Because you gotta do it all together.
Right, absolutely.
You can't
It's all about the balance.
compartmentalize any of that is one focus.
Exactly.
So that's what the Lotus Kitchen and so foodie, we have that in common.
Yes, another thing.
And you have a wellness practice.
I do. I have a wellness studio.
Yeah, wellness studio.
That I share with my other best friend. He's an esthetician.
Right.
And we've known each other for over 20 years. And she was looking for a place to do her esthetician services.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for a place to offer my Reiki services. And I also do spiritual life coaching. And
ding, 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 ding. Because we're going to be coaching each other through this
exactly.
podcast. We call it the podcast.
Exactly.
We'll be coaching each other. Yeah.
There's so many wonderful elements to it. So, we have a local wellness studio, and I really love that. And we just celebrated 6 years.
Yes.
In our community here,
Right.
and it's really close. So I'm
Yeah.
really, really blessed.
and
Yeah, it's a great, wonderful space. I mean, I designed the space,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved how people, when they would come into our space, and people that worked there in the building or clients, and they would ask if they could just come in and hang out
hang out
in our studio because they loved the energy so much. They said, "Can I just hang out here with a cup of coffee? I mean, I will pay you for 30 minutes to sit here." And we just thought
that is
was
a
the
high
greatest
vibration
thing.
and frequency.
It is a very high vibrational place.
Ooh.
And, it was funny is that building I live 5 minutes away.
Right.
And the building was there for who knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
I never went into it. I didn't know what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, on a Sunday, we walked in there. There was one room that just totally spoke to us. And so
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
And our company is named after an archangel. It's Jeffrey's Light and Skin Care.
Yeah.
And it's been
Is that your go-to angel? Is that your standby angel? Because I know you're very in touch with the angels.
I am very connected to the angels.
Yeah.
She definitely won.
Yeah.
I mean, it just felt. So she is, for those who are not familiar, Archangel 𝐂𝐿 is the angel of beauty, and not just aesthetic wise. It's a beautiful thoughts and the mind and the love in which we share, and it just instantly came to me. I think another divine, guided thing. I was like, oh, okay, Jeff's light, and you can be Jeff's skin.
Right, yeah.
And that was it. And we've had people come to us because of the name of our company.
Yeah.
They're like, I noticed that you had an archangel. And I think more and more people are really starting to wake up.
It's not just woo-woo any longer. I mean, it can be woo-woo because we will be talking some woo-woo stuff. We'll be doing woo-woo.
Yeah.
But it's real.
Yes.
It's real.
Absolutely.
And you shared some things with me this past week that helped me through a very challenging time. And angel came and had a message for me. It was right on what I need to hear. Right. And I believe our angels do show up and get us through what we need to, if we're open and willing to receive.
Absolutely. They're constantly, I mean, even our loved ones in spirit are around us all the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody is so busy in their minds. They're stressed, they're worried, they're thinking about what they're going to do later, they have anxiety. I mean, there's so much chatter in people's minds.
Yeah.
And so even if they're constantly sending you messages, but we're not able to hear them if you're constantly in a state of chatter in your mind, right?
Right.
And you might be asking questions, and how come my answers, I'm not receiving answers that I ask questions for, the courage, these kind of things. Well, you are. They're constantly being shown around you, or even a feeling or a knowing, or but people are needing to learn to be more present. Yeah. Because if we can learn to be more present in the moment right now, and that's what's great about meditation and yoga and these things.
Which we'll be talking about in these podcasts and these podcasts.
It just allows
it's a journey. To spiritual greatness, a journey.
And it just allows you to really kind of come back and, see all the greatness that's around you, that's within you and around you, all the greatness that, I tell people all the time, there's magic all around us. All around us, all the time. It's all the time. Yeah. But if we are caught up in our chatter, it's very difficult to see that. Yeah. And then if they do see it, sometimes they question it, right? But it's something that's actually a very natural state of our beings.
When we met instantaneous, we were at Emily's birthday lunch. We kind of first time we knew about each other. We were talking online and everything. We sat down at the table, and instantaneous there was a feeling of familiarity. Yep. And there was a place where I knew, okay, that's my sister from another minister. We got a lot in common. And then I was looking for a partner to do a new podcast for 2020, because 2020 is a very spiritual time for us, heading into the law of manifestation will be high in gear for everyone.
Abundance, manifestation, positivity, just a lot of self-love and awakening to that and understanding, which is your greatness, right? Your innate being.
And when I sat down with you, I said, this is the person I'm supposed to be with, and my whole entire spirit said, okay, say it. And I was afraid. I was kind of pulling back. I'm going to say it, but I'm going to will you do a podcast with me? And you looked at me and went, yes. And that was it. And that was it. It was like, okay, we don't know. And we just said, okay, we're going to do this. And we got together and started vibing and talking about what we wanted. What is I know what I would want to do for this Journey to Spiritual Greatness podcast for people. I want people to wake up to how amazing and how incredibly talented we all are in this realm of spirituality, but also to know it's practical. It happens every day. Spiritual awakening, tapping into it can happen on the 405, where I am so challenged sometimes. The 405 is my biggest teacher right now. And I'm doing the commute from LA to Orange County back and forth, 3 times, 4 times a week, and that's my biggest teacher. But it's practical and it's accessible.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
people can manifest the life that they want. So I know that this podcast or the journey for spiritual greatness is exactly like that. The journey for people to wake up and understand who they are.
Right.
What's your intention for us getting this beautiful information out there? What do you want?
Well, my intention is also the same as yours. And in addition to that, I feel that a lot of people don't understand the depth of their greatness, which I feel that you are born with that greatness.
The DNA.
Yes, your DNA, that is who you are.
And DNA, I call it divine natural authenticity.
Yes, absolutely.
That's your DNA. Yes.
And I feel that if people had some tools, some wisdom, some knowledge that we could share with them, some tips.
Woo-woo or not woo-woo, practical or not,
right? So you can apply it every day to your life.
Yeah.
And, or if you're feeling, if you're still trying to discover your greatness, right? So as we change, because we evolve, that ebbs and it flows. Some days we feel really great.
And some days we don't.
And some days we don't. And that's okay.
Some days we feel like, okay, this is crap.
Yeah.
This is nastiness, and this, I don't like this, and this is ugly.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
It's absolutely
I think that's the journey of how do we find the beauty in the ugliness of it.
Yeah.
And in spiritual, when I use the word ugly, I don't believe it. I believe it's all beautiful.
Right.
But there's those challenging parts, and ugly is a linguistic convenience to say it. It just doesn't feel right.
Right. It's not fun.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Right.
And I think we have those times where we get so deep into the ugly of life that we don't know how to get back on.
And I think that it is helpful when you feel that you're in that space and you feel stuck, right? And you feel like you just wish you had some information, some knowledge, some motivation, some inspiration, just to help you. If I'm feeling like this, what's something I can do to bring me back to a state of gratitude or presence or these things. And also now, it's okay if you're going through these times where you feel more challenged. That's part of our growth.
And we learn more from the challenges than we do success.
Yes.
I mean, I that's what I've always learned.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I'm learning to ask, what's the lesson I'm seeking to learn here?
I ask that all the time.
What is the lesson?
Right. What's a lesson here that...
Because there's got to be a reason why we go through it.
Absolutely. Everything is about lessons and learning.
Yeah.
Everything is.
Yeah.
And you're not being punished. You're not being left out. You're not worthy of any greatness or abundance or anything coming to you. I feel that for some people, if it's in their family environment or their work environment or what have you, and I feel that, some people will project, right? They will maybe even try to talk you out of your greatness. They'll try to talk you out of it by their opinions of the way in which they view the world or their own experiences, because that's the only way that we can do that, right? We have an experience, good or bad, however you choose to decide that, and then we like to project it to someone else. Don't do that. Don't do that, because listen, back in 2011, I did that, and it didn't end up a good idea.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a one for all for everyone.
And, a lot of people do that. They have their present experiences dictated by their past experiences.
Absolutely, because it's the only way that you can have that.
When someone tells me, well, that's not going to work because when I did it, and I always go, okay, well, that's your experience.
That was your experience.
I am not going to, I'm not, I was telling a friend, oh, well, I'm starting because this is my 4th round of podcasts and doing this, and a friend of mine said, well, everyone's doing it right now, and unless you're going to say something, I'm going, okay, I hear you, thank you for your feedback, but I'm not embracing this.
Right.
because this moment is different.
Yes.
We're different.
Right.
We have our own message to say.
Exactly.
And so not having your experience be dictated by someone else's experience,
Right.
that's like spiritual grown-up stuff.
Absolutely. To know that you can stand
Yes.
in your own space of understanding. So and that's what's so wonderful about the journey to spiritual greatness. Because I feel that when you really step into your greatness, it means you're really stepping into your true authentic self.
Yeah.
And to me, that means self-love. It is the discovery and understanding of what self-love is.
I'm feeling that vibration and frequency right in the heart chakra right
Yeah,
now.
in the heart chakra.
That just landed and resonated with me.
Oh,
wow.
perfect.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. But when did you realize your own personal spiritual greatness? How long did it take you? Because we don't wake up in the morning going, bam, I'm here.
No, not at all. No. You have to have a lot of life growth moments and seasons and experiences. I always call them, when you're coming to the end of it, I call it your rising of the phoenix.
Ooh.
I always visualize like
the phoenix, that's the bird that
the
from the fire, right?
Fire.
And then
Yes.
push.
It's coming out of
Kabush.
action.
Spiritual
Yeah.
kabush.
It has to,
Right.
you have to be stripped down of everything
You have
that
to.
you thought was for your best and highest good. And
So the fires are cleansing.
the fire is cleansing. And I feel like the journey of learning, and when we have certain experiences that are ugly, right?
Right.
We're like, okay, we're good here, right? And we'll
Yeah.
kind of keep having them over and over. But the reason that they repeat is because we haven't grasped the lessons that were to come from them.
Yeah.
Because they will repeat. They
And
will come in
sometimes
different forms.
sometimes I love what Oprah says. God, just don't show me nothing new today.
Right.
And sometimes I am not willing to go down there to get that lesson.
Right.
But when I'm willing, it is transformative.
It will change your life.
Yeah.
And it is designed to do that.
Right.
So when I visualize, I always visualize, okay, what I'm going through, my season, everybody goes through seasons, right? I'm going through my season, and it feels like it's never ending, right? It feels like a very long season.
Right. Oh.
And you're like, and there's been times where it brings you to your knees, and you know how they always say, God's never gonna give you something more than you can handle, and you're like. And I've said this before, God, you must think I am so strong because this feels relentless. This feels like every time I get up, a Mack truck knocks me back down. I'm like, wait, I just got up. Oh, and then down again, right?
What's happening?
Yeah. But when you see that, and I feel that in my past experiences, and probably a lot of people, our ego state does this for us. It could have been so much easier, right? It could have been so much easier.
Or maybe not, though. Maybe not, because if it was easier, maybe we wouldn't have learned it. What do you think?
The whole lesson's not going to be easy. But I think it
could have been a different path.
Right. Because you're thinking you're being punished for something, or you're being withheld from something, or something. I feel that thinking, when we get caught up in there, makes it 10 times worse. And trust me, when you're in it sometimes and you feel like quicksand and you can't breathe and you're like, just give me a moment to catch my breath, right?
Right.
Those experiences are transformational. They will bring you to your knees and it'll feel like that, right? Some of the big lessons. And then you will rise like a phoenix. You will be, it's like everything has to stripped away. All the ideals of certain things that didn't serve you, any bad habits or patterns that didn't serve you, even our friendships and relationships will fall away because they are no longer in alignment with the things that we need to learn and to grow into a new space into. So they'll fall away. There's been times where you're like, whoa, where did all my friends go?
Yeah, and what I love what you're talking about is that waking up to the fact it is all a spiritual journey.
Yes.
Our life, it's not even the big things and the little things. One of my authors I love reading is Ernest Holmes. And Ernest Holmes, New Thought, and some of you guys will know I'm a New Thought minister. So Ernest Holmes, I go to Ernest Holmes quite a bit for my inspiration. Ernest Holmes says that there is not higher spiritual education or lower spiritual, there's just spiritual learning, period. So we don't put that, that was boom and this was here. No, it's all the
every
journey.
day can be considered that.
Every day can be
considered
that.
You wake up. I always tell people, you know what? Every day you wake up, and I'm there's sayings, and everybody's heard this before. It is a brand new day. So what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do? Are you going to carry the energy? And it doesn't mean that we don't have to deal with what happened the day before. But how will you deal with this brand new blessing of a new day? What will you do differently? Because that's the only way.
So what are you going to do differently? Let me tell you. Here I am, just lost my job. I'm being evicted, and I'm trying to put some food on the table for my family. And I'm trying to find a new day. How am I going to get myself out of this, or move through this? What would you say to make this journey to up level to a new paradigm? What would you say? What would you do? It's a big one, but it's happening right now. And I'm getting clients online even saying to me, I have this issue, and I don't know how to turn it around. So what would you do about turning it around?
What I would do, or what I would suggest, is that, you just take it one moment at a time. What can I do right now? What can I do right now? Because what happens is we get so far ahead of ourselves. What if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if this happens? And then here comes anxiety, and here comes the worry, right? Anxiety is when we project too far ahead of ourselves.
We're future tripping.
Future tripping.
Child, come back. Come back, Carol Ann. Come back. You just come back, girl.
And then the worry is from our past experiences.
And that's the regret.
And I know in the moment, and it feels like, because I've had similar experiences like that, where an avalanche feels that it is falling and taking your air away, and you're like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And you have to. This will be another one about surrender. Because that is like a lifetime process for a lot of people. If you can learn to do that, and it's a challenging one, right? It is a challenging one for so many. But I would, if everything's falling down around you, just say, and I know in that moment you're not like, what's the lesson I'm supposed to get here right now, right? Because you're not feeling that in the moment.
You're not feeling
like,
that.
What is going on? You have no idea that you're being...
I want to eat, but what is the lesson I need to learn right here? And the lesson is I need some food. That's the lesson.
You are being prepared for something great. And you don't know that. You don't know that in the moment because it is so hard to see with the avalanche that is falling before you, right? But if you can just take a moment and just say, what can I do right now? Look at what your options are and just say, what can I do right now? The thing is that when we are being blinded by all of our worry and everything that's happening, it is very, very difficult to see what is available to us, to see what our options are. It's too hard. Our blinders just cover over our eyes, and we want to just shut down, right? But if you just ask yourself, what can I do right now? Right? And then just take that moment of pause and quiet and really kind of think of it. And then your options do start to come.
And the other thing too is that I love that, what can I do right now? But the other thing for me has been, it's going to be okay.
Absolutely.
It's like really going back. So the other day I am doing some work. I do some freelance work for some universities, and I had not heard from them. I know we had the outline of what we wanted to do and how it was going to be, and contracts have been signed, and there's no check. And I'm going, well, it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
I need to go buy some gifts and stuff like
Right.
that. So, and it was just in my head.
Right.
My heart knew it's going to be okay. The angels, in fact, you sent me that message, delays. Don't worry about delays. It's okay. The angels will let me know it's going to be okay. And I heard that. And I just heard it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, in that moment the other day, I surrendered to it's going to be okay. I walked into the house and there was a check.
See?
And
That's surrender.
And then the next day, they're emailing me going, okay, so we need this, we need this, we need this. I'll go, okay, it's happening. Thank you, God, for allowing it to understand. Surrender. And that's a big word. Most of us do not want to surrender to the process.
Right.
I'm like a person that wants to control it.
Well, that's
all
millions of people on the planet. Yeah.
But
we want to be in control. We want to think that we know what the greatest outcome is going to be. And it's going to be better than anything we could have thought of. And guess what? This is the thing. There are infinite possibilities. And when we truly surrender, and it's learning to get into that state.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can decide to get into that state to learn.
Yeah.
But there are situations where life will kind of help you along and
to teach you how to surrender?
Teach you to surrender. And that will be your option is to surrender.
I love that because we do learn these lessons and I've had the evidence of surrender is working. Everything's working for my highest good. I've had it so many times. But what I have is spiritual amnesia. I forget and then, because I believe that this journey is about we fall asleep, we wake up, we fall asleep, we wake up, but we wake up even more, and we stay even more. Longer. I believe that we're all, and this is from my mentor, Reverend Michael Beckwith. He's my teacher. I'm in his school of ministry, and he talks about this, that there are two types of people. Two types of people know that they're sleepwalking, but they're willing to do the work to wake up.
Yes.
And there's the other people who don't realize that they're sleepwalking.
Exactly.
And they're moving from the ego all the time. They're always in victim. They're going, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me?
They think life is happening to them.
Exactly. Instead of, what am I seeking to learn from this situation? What am I seeking to emerge from this situation so I can be great?
Yeah.
So I can step into my DNA, what I was meant to, my greatness.
Right.
And that is, I think, a part of what we want to do in this podcast.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to do that. So I have a couple of things that I have my pad here, which I love very much. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you my 10 and then you're gonna give me your 10.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I know you know it, you have it here, but in my heart. So here's my list of 10 qualities of greatness.
Okay.
Number 1, believe that greatness is your DNA.
Absolutely.
Okay. Overcoming your resistance. And resistance is very powerful.
Yes.
Resistance can be very powerful. Do exactly what you're meant to do.
Yes.
Help others achieve their greatness and inspire. Living life as that you're in the place of it's fulfilled and it's meaning. It has meaning.
Yes.
So you're living a life that's full of meaning. Honest and authentic. Simply being yourself.
Absolutely.
That is huge. In a couple of shows, I'll talk about how I try not to be myself to do something, and we'll get into that later on. Living with passion.
Absolutely.
And I think we both have a lot of passion. Seeing and living in infinite possibilities.
Yes.
And that's a practice because I don't always see that, but I try to live in that.
Yes.
Never giving up.
Yes.
Never giving up. Never giving up. All cameras. Always wanting to learn and grow.
Yes.
Any of that resonates with you?
Absolutely. They all resonate. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to be having like duplicate.
But that's okay. But we're in alignment, and sometimes we'll agree, sometimes we'll go, and I love that. So, which one of those really speak to you about greatness, the quality of greatness?
You know, I feel that it's really important to offer value, to be of value, and to offer value. And when you feel valuable, that's a very easy thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And for me, if you just asked me, well, how do I come into my greatness? Well, obviously there's many different roads that could lead you there. But I feel the main thing will always come back to self-love.
Ooh, see, that wasn't even on the list.
But it will always come back to that.
It always comes back to self-love.
Because if you think about it, if you were in a state of self-love, how would your decisions be different?
Yeah.
How would your choices be different? How would your environment around you be different and the people that you attract into your environment, right? Because energy, everything's energy. Like attracts like.
It's a frequency.
And everything comes back to self-love. That is what you were created through. Love, right? And that is the big, great journey here is the discovery of that self-love. It is a very powerful state of being, which is your greatness.
I've heard a statement that love is all that there really is, and the rest is a lie.
Absolutely.
The rest is a facade.
Or my angels like to remind me, only love is real, Robin.
Yeah.
And they will say that when I'm like, they'll be like, only love.
Can we do a show just on the angels?
Absolutely.
And what that means? Because I love that.
I love talking about the angels.
Hey, no, seriously, because the angels have told you some things about me, y'all. Love it.
Loving messages.
But one thing, let's give them a little insight of what they're moving into. We're going to 2020.
Yes.
So I kind of know a little bit about it. This is your expert on this time, but 2020 is a time of manifestation and love and business and prosperity, plenitude, all that. But what is the dynamics of this new decade that we're about to jump into?
So there's a huge energy shift, and what I see happening around, even though certain avenues may portray differently, but a lot of people I feel are feeling it right now.
Yeah.
They are feeling, and some people, some of my clients are like, I think I'm going crazy, or I'm super emotional, and then I'm fine, and then this, and then this is coming up, and I said, no, it's all good. It's all part of the process.
Yeah.
It's part of a cleansing of letting go what no longer serves us.
But don't you have to do that before we hit 2020? Don't we want to be cleansing now?
I think it's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process.
I think it's an ongoing process. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to.
So I was here and release it before you get into 2020.
Well,
there's some things that I could release.
Absolutely.
And I had to release.
Right. So you have to think of when we carry old patterns, habits, relationships that don't serve us, friendships that don't serve us, thoughts, memories, energy that we still connect to past experiences or memories that don't serve us, right? When we carry that, so one of my best girlfriends, she loves this example that I use. So I said, if you were going, and I use this as a relationship because she's a single lady and she's looking, and I said, so when you get into this new relationship, it's like a new sofa, right? Brand new sofa, right? Are you going to take, but you have this brand new sofa and you have this old sofa, right? It's baggage. And so you're starting this new life and this new relationship with someone, right? Or even with yourself. And you're going to move into this new house. The new house is the new state of your being, of your thinking, of your self-love, right? Are you going to take the old sofa, right? It's all beat up. It's got stains on it. There's Cheetos in the cracks. You're going to take the change that's in there. But, are you going to take
the old sofa
with you into this new, brand new, clean house?
But some people like the old sofa, though. Robin, some people love the old Some people love the Cheetos up in the cracks and stuff.
Those would be your old habits. Right?
They would be,
And that's fine to have a habit as long as it is serving you.
Sure.
If it is not serving you in any way for you to learn every day, to bring you closer to your goals that you set for yourself in life, to bring you closer every day and a reminder of your greatness, those things do not serve you.
That's true. And as I'm looking for a new space to live in 2020, I do not want to I am looking for a new place right now. Physically.
It's a new space.
I do not want to bring in the old sofa. In fact, I actually threw the old sofa. I actually didn't throw it away. No, it's not true. I actually gave it. I donated it. I actually donated to a coworker who needed a sofa. Because I knew that wherever I was going to move, I didn't want to carry that. And I had the sofa for a good 15 years. It's an old leather sofa that felt really good. But I had realized that I had outgrew the sofa and I wanted something different. I wanted change.
And that's the other thing. This is the other thing. People will stay where they are comfortable. And when they do that, you can't stand in your greatness because you're staying in a very safe, comfortable sofa or a circle, and change happens outside of that circle.
It's uncomfortable to change.
Absolutely, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people. It's different, it's unknown, it can be scary, or you can change your thinking on what it means to embrace change. And it can be exciting. It can be wonderful.
Recently, and I wasn't going to share this, but I guess it's taking us to that journey. So I'm hearing the angels going, go ahead and share it. I was on the pathway of moving to a space and cohabitate with someone and being and I just felt the energy of, no, this doesn't feel right right now.
That was your intuition.
That was my intuition. So it's so uncomfortable to go, no, I'm wrong. My ego's going, don't tell anyone. Just kind of, can you do it without anybody knowing because you made this huge announcement and this and that and that. And it was so uncomfortable, but I knew, and I'm still in the process of it now, and the uncomfortableness of it, because now I do not have the space that I hate it.
Right.
I hate it, but I know it's what I have to do so I can be the man that I was called to be.
You have stepped in such a beautiful space of self-love.
Yeah.
And that took courage. You did something, even though it was so uncomfortable, and it had all these other things that came with it, right? All these big changes simultaneously. When you chose to step into your authentic greatness, and that was self-love. You said, this doesn't feel right, because there's a lot of people that will stay in friendships and relationships because they're like, oh, if I leave, then I won't have these benefits or this situation or this, right? And it was uncomfortable because it's not your truth. It wasn't alignment with your true divine self. And so it takes such a great depth of courage, which is self-love, to say, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make this big change, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other things that change right after it. Even though the announcement, even though this and all this stuff, it's okay. That's what people need to learn.
They need to learn that. Okay, so I shared something of me. Tell them a little bit, one big lesson that you had to learn. Were you willing to share it with me?
Let me, gosh, there's so many.
One big thing that you really tapped into self-love. And you went, okay, this is not right, I'm doing this. They just put you on the spot.
Gosh, there's so many good examples. I mean, I feel every day you have to choose self-love. Every day is an act of self-love. Every day when you, choose to respond to something or someone, I feel that you have a choice, right? Sometimes we're feeling tired and we're hungry, and that's the ego part of us, and we're feeling challenged, right? It feels like all these things are kind of coming at us, and then you're feeling tired, and you're like, I'm kind of hungry, and to respond in a positive, loving way is an act of self-love, right? There's times where my kid's like, I'm a pretty high-vibing, happy person, but I'm also human too. And I also make mistakes.
That's the beauty of this.
Absolutely. It's a whole journey. It's like a school of hard knocks.
In the humanness, Panache Desai says that our human incarnation is a gateway to our divinity. We will be in our divinity once we embrace our humanity of it all. Another great saying by Michael Beckwith is that we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience in a human incarnation.
Absolutely.
This is huge. This is a huge process.
Absolutely.
So, but as we are closing down this first, what a great
episode.
We were going to go there. We're going to keep it nice and like it to know Robin and Skip, but there's so much to talk about. But if you could let them know one thing that you are willing to give them, our audience, our people, from yourself. And now I'm going to follow it up too, and we'll close it out.
So a tip that I would suggest is every day do something that brings you joy. Every day, if it's listening to music, if it's dancing, if it's spending time with someone or an animal or out in nature or creating, do something every day. And it doesn't have to cost a lot. It can be the simplest moment. I mean, if it's even taking 10 minutes just to be in a quiet space, right? Because I know that, sometimes that's hard for people.
Right.
But just do something every day. If it's small, if it's eat something, right? Whatever it is for you, just do something that brings you joy. Because that is
that's spiritual greatness. And spiritual greatness,
yes.
and that's a great spiritual greatness tip. My spiritual greatness tip comes from something you said, something I learned early on in my spiritual practice and journey is the acronym of HALT.
Yes.
HALT means hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. If I am hungry, gotta eat something. If I'm angry, I gotta shift my vibration. If I'm tired, I gotta rest. If I'm lonely, it's time for me to reach out.
Right.
Because I will only be lonely as long as I allow myself to be lonely.
Absolutely.
I'm good being alone.
Right.
Not good at being lonely.
Right.
And that's a whole different vibration. We'll talk about that. So my tip to you guys is that if you're feeling halt this season, this time, it's time for you to shift and do something else. So we're going to be giving you spiritual greatness tips all the time.
All the time.
I mean, this podcasts and vodcasts and whatever we're going to call it is going to be filled of opportunities to learn and to be great.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling about this?
I feel great. I'm really excited. There's just so much I need to share.
This is great. So, I think that's it. I guess we can say happy holidays and
everybody have an amazing holiday.
And New Year and welcome new decade.
Oh my God.
It's a new day,
2020?
new year, new decade.
So big.
It's gonna be amazing.
For everyone, it is gonna be amazing.
I'm excited. So, well, until next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Remember to subscribe where you listen to your podcasts.
And follow us on Instagram and Facebook.